Hello, it's Classy here back with another Tribes video, and today I'm going to showcase the 5-star Kisame from the new Kisame and B banner. And if you guys watched my collaboration with Painblade a while back, I was able to pull them on this account for relatively cheap, so that was always good to have. And we're able to get them to 5 stars right now. We can't get LB2, so I will not be able to test out some more team building ideas involving him, Sai, and Chakra Generation. That's because they haven't released his weapon fragments. And here we go. So this is our Kisame right now on server 8, 68k first in the server. Only tier 15 right now because we're running low on some resources, so we'll have to farm up to fully max him out. And of course I'm prepared to limit break to him once we can get those weapon fragments, just because I can see some synergies with some other teams. So here we go. The 5-star art, I personally really like his 3-star and 5-star arts. I guess it really depends if you like Kisame or not, but I think this art looks very menacing and it makes him look very like physically big, which makes sense because when he's merged he gets even bigger than he originally was. And yeah, I mean, he's always been like a pretty beefy guy that can fight in melee combat, so I do like the way that they portrayed him in a lot of the blue colors and the lights like reflecting off of the water droplets makes a lot of sense. So let's take a look at the link bonuses first. Yeah, obviously it's Itachi and Tobi because those are his, well, Itachi's his partner in the Akatsuki and Tobi is another member of the Akatsuki, also kind of like the leader. B and Guy is because these two are some of the heroes that he fought during the anime. Suigetsu and Zabuza because those are the hit and miss swordsmen, and he used to be one of the swordsmen as well, so it makes sense. Oh, I forgot to click at the stats. So we have a good balance of stats here as a T unit, obviously a TUR. So he's only really lacking in critical suppression rate, which will make him more vulnerable to crits, but he has very high crit rate himself and other high offensive stats like the damage increase rate. And he also has some solid defensive stats like the guard rate at 30%. But overall, definitely his stats reflect more of a offensive side to his unit other than the defensive side. But T units are generally balanced, so. And here's his character model. This is why I like to call him Sharknado, just because of how there's like a tornado under his feet when he's floating. And I personally really like this character model. Some people don't. They think it makes him look weird. But this is like the first time we have the floating character and animated like effects around the character. So that's really cool to see. Let's go to the skills. First skill, Special Ninjutsu. Does power creep damage, increases his chakra by 3,200, lowers all enemies' damage reduction rate by 20%, boosts all allies' damage increase rate by 15%, and then boosts all allies' critical rate by 15%. And that's really good actually for just a jutsu. First, it affects all enemies and all allies, so that could be up to 9 characters on both sides of the battlefield. And the percentages are pretty solid. It reminds me a little bit of Criminal Itachi, how he can boost the damage increase rate and critical rate. In fact, let me check the numbers real quick. Okay, so Criminal Itachi boosts all allies attack by the same percent as Kisame right now, and he gives higher critical rate. So what does Kisame give again? He gives damage increase rate and critical rate. Yeah, so honestly, this jutsu is pretty good as well. It's not an AoE like Criminal Itachi's, but it does do a lot of nuke damage to a single target. It also boosts really good offensive stats, basically around the same level as Criminal Itachi's. So already great. And then he boosts his chakra too, so that increases his chance of using this jutsu again, which will stack all the buffs. The debuffs aren't going to stack, but this is really good, honestly, for the jutsu. Like 20% is a really solid number on damage reduction rate, so he'll be able to take down the tanky opponents too. Skill 2, regular damage for skill 2s. Decreases target's chakra by 800, increases chakra by 1200. So this skill 2 kind of sucks. It's basically the exact same one as the SR Kisame. And the reason why it kind of sucks is because of the way his jutsu works, you want him in the front because he both buffs and debuffs. So that will make him even more of a priority to be placed in the front of the cell. And if he's in the front and he decreases someone's chakra, the next person behind him to attack will just give that enemy more chakra back. So this is kind of useless, but it does give him chakra for himself. So basically just ignore the decreased target chakra thing, especially in PvP, because it's so random who you're hitting. It's probably not going to have a big impact, but basically just count this skill 2 as give him 1200 chakra, which is pretty solid considering he gets more chakra from his vitality and his jutsu, so he can jutsu more often, and that stacks more buffs and stuff. So yeah, people are definitely sleeping on this character. I don't know, maybe they don't like Kisame. He's a pretty cool character. Even if you don't like him, this unit looks pretty strong just off the first 2 skills alone. Let's take a look at his 4th skill. Boosts all allies' damage increase rate by 3% at the start of any turn after an enemy has been defeated. Boosts all allies' damage reduction rate by 4% at the start of any turn after an enemy has been defeated. So the way that these kind of skills work is that they're proccing after you defeat an enemy. So basically, the more enemies you defeat, the more often this skill will proc, and these buffs will stack also. So it's not terrible. It's not like a super strong 4th skill, I'd say, but it is still a useful 4th skill considering that his whole kit, like a lot of his kit revolves around defeating enemies in order to get more benefits. So if you're building him right, then if you're building the team that he's on right, then you should be able to proc these things very often. And if you consider that this 4 skill is proccing multiple times per battle, this is actually pretty solid. But there are instances in which this 4th skill won't be too useful. For example, if you're fighting like a boss character for PvE, let's say like Alliance Team Battle, FG, this 4th skill isn't going to proc very often because you're probably not going to be defeating many enemies, if any at all. So that's why he's more focused on Arena, because that's where you'll be defeating more enemies. Just keep that in mind. Arena and Ninja World Tournament. Gear, we got some stuff going. Scrolls, we got some stuff maxed out. Here's his Vitality. It works with this kit, which makes this Vitality better. He gets chakra when enemies are defeated. That's the important part. So he'll get 3,750. He'll get 3,750 chakra every time an ally is defeated. If you add that up with the 3,000-ish he gets from his jutsu, plus the 1,000 from the skill 2, plus some procs from Sai, you can probably get him jutsuing very often. That's pretty solid. Then when allies are defeated, he gets even more chakra. So on average, Kisame might be able to jutsu every rotation. Besides that, the Limit Break 2 is something that I'm very curious about and very excited to use. Not just because I like Kisame as a character, but he increases all allies' chakra at the start of any turn after an enemy has been defeated. And I believe this number starts off as 1,200. Well, Sai gives like 1,800, but That's why you want to use him with Sai, because Sai is more reliable because he gives chakra every single turn. But as you're defeating more enemies, Kisame's chakra will also come in for all of your allies, and then that makes them jutsu more often. And then if they jutsu more often, they'll kill more enemies and then proc all of this stuff. I think you can understand the cycle. So assuming I had this LB2, I would put him with Sai, add some AoE nukes. And the reason why is because AoE nukes deal a ton of damage, but their weakness is that they have less chakra and they take a long time to build up chakra to jutsu. So if you have both of these guys, then they'll be jutsuing more often and getting more kills. So that's my general idea. You know, it's nothing like super. Also, the voice acting is pretty cool for Kisame. So yeah, as I said, it's nothing like super different from what people might expect, but I think that people are not thinking about Kisame in that way. They're kind of thinking him as a generic T unit, but even as a generic T unit, he still provides a lot of buffs, like very similar to Criminal Itachi's jutsu, just as a single target. But yeah, hopefully we can break the meta if we try out stuff like this. So for example, here's something I'm building up right now. Obviously we have him first alongside Six Tails, who is the main AoE nuke here. And he also gets stronger as time goes on, which is really good because if you have a team with characters like Kisame, you want the battle to last longer usually, just because they give more benefits as more enemies are defeated. Now for T Itachi, we have him as well. He'll be able to do a lot of buffs as well for the team. 5 T units. That's why we have Kid Kakashi here. He has a lot of good buffs for T units, especially the defensive limit break that boosts T and D units and makes them a lot tankier. So we have a good amount of tanking as well. And then we have Hidan, obviously, to counter the status effects and also make the whole team more tankier. And then stunners. Who doesn't like stunners? Everyone needs stunners. So let's take a look at how these games work. Alright, so we have Kakashi. He gives boosts to T and D units at the start of the battle. I think damage reduction rate. Lucky skill 2 from Heavy. Here's Kisame. He doesn't proc any skills right now, any passive skills, but he does proc his second skill. And you can see the chakra down on Heavy. Yep. Okay, nothing too crazy there. As you see, the chakra down didn't matter because he got attacked by the following characters. Okay, Six Tails didn't die, which is important. Man, Sai is just so good. And hopefully Kisame too when he gets that chakra. Alright, so we already killed Sage Moon Jiraiya. Kakashi's also gonna kill Naruto. Now we're gonna see Kisame's 4th skill proc. At the top right. Yep, tail beat without a tail. So yeah, that gives some boosts to the whole team. Alright. Procs again, the 4th skill, because there's enemies that have been defeated. Alright, he's gonna use his jutsu now. This should increase damage increase rate, critical rate, and then decrease damage reduction rate. And the animation's really sick too. Yep, damage reduction rate down, critical rate up. Didn't do too much damage, unfortunately, with no crits against the type damage up, or type damage down. But let's see if he gets a critical rate boost. Yeah, man, look at those crits. Crazy. 3 crits in a row. With help from Kisame, of course. And his fourth skill is going to proc as more enemies are defeated. And here's the thing about Kisame's fourth skill. You don't need new enemies to be defeated. I'm pretty sure they just proc as long as enemies are defeated. So, for example, if you just had one guy that was defeated the whole time, he would just be proccing those skills. So we were able to showcase a lot of his kit already. I think everything I wanted to show. Let's see if we can get some better numbers on his jutsu, because I'm sure he can do better. I've seen 500k crit. I don't remember which battle that was, but it was definitely on this account. Alright, let's just get these out of the way. Sai taking no damage again, thanks to Kid Kakashi. Hopefully Kisame doesn't get killed here. Oh, nice. He hit Hidan. Hidan takes no damage from that. Alright, Kisame's fourth skill is going to proc on the top right because enemies are defeated. Fourth skill is going to proc again. Alright, now we have another jutsu. Let's see what happens. I mean, even if he doesn't nuke that hard, Six Tails will finish the job. And he's also a very talkative unit. He talks a good amount. Alright, 300k. Critical rate up, you see the red text. His damage is not bad at all. And Naruto finished the job, as I said. Yeah, dude, look at those. I think that was all 1,000,000 plus, so that was crazy. And imagine if Kisame had the chakra generation as well. That would make this team even better than it already is. And he is not a replacement for Sai. You want Sai before you want him, just because Sai is more consistent and gives more. And ideally, you want both together. Because as soon as one of the enemies is defeated, you'll be able to get that chakra. So Sai plus Kisame should be like 3k chakra per turn, which is nuts. Yeah, when I get the Limit Break 2 on this account, we'll be able to hop back into Arena and use Kisame with Sai. And did I just hear a different voice line? Like, he has a lot of different voice lines. And the voice actor sounds really similar to the actual one from the anime. So I think they might have actually got the voice actor again, which is cool. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned something. See you guys next time.